Hey, Shalom, Barakatha Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakodash, the ones of the apostles, bishops, elders, a great millstone, and Shalom to your brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith, Lord willing, we have found the number to be delivered. All right? And we all have been seeing this mass influx of these Christian apologists surfacing on the scene. And, they're all, under the same umbrella, if you will. And their whole, messages is that Jesus Christ came for the Gentiles. Basically, that's what their message is. All right. But what they fail to realize and fail to understand, that the true men of the Lord are going to be occupied in prophecies. All right. The true men of the Lord will be occupied in prophecy. All right. These cats don't speak anything about prophecy. All right. So with that being said, they better read 2nd Ezra 9:1. All right. Because all that's going on in this world and everything that's happened in 2026 since this new year opened up is nothing but hell and high water, man. And you still got these guys talking about the Gentiles, Jesus Christ and the Gentiles. All right. Well, if they were true men of the Lord, they would understand and know that Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy, and they would be prophesying. All right. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 9:1. And it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. All right. And this is what the men of the Lord are doing. They're measuring the time. And measuring the time is important, because these things that are now happening are giving us a gauge to know what? That the Lord Yahweh Shai is almost ready to return. Okay? And it says, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. All right? So there's no, sugarcoating this. The Lord has now put forth the tribulation of these nations, the tribulation of the time of Jacob's trouble. These are the things that are now cooking on the burner, if you will. Okay? So if a man is going to sit there and try to compel you to debate, to be in some great debate with him, or try to compel you to try to give an answer for why the Gentiles, can't be saved, they in the wrong spirit, man. They are in the wrong spirit, because trying to figure out whether or not the Gentiles can be saved or not in this time period that we're living in is not going to do a damn thing for you to be delivered out of here. Okay? And again, salvation is only to the children of Israel anyway. Right? So let's move on. Let me keep reading. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Now, if you also notice, not only are you seeing these uproars, but you're also seeing a mass influx of earthquakes. All right? Now, there have always been earthquakes, but the earthquakes coupled with the influx of the uproars of the people, all right, the uptick of nation coming against nation, rumors of wars, all these things are on the horizon. All right? It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So therefore, where should your mind be? Your mind should be occupied in prophecies. All right? And these Christian apologists don't even come close to prophecies or prophesying. They don't even come close. So if you got that, I want to question you about the Gentile spirit, or you got this great debate spirit on you, you're gonna find out real fast that that spirit isn't the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right? We out here prophesying. Look at all this going on, man. Everything. Nations are heating up. Leaders are heating up. You know? Things are starting to get, more and more tense. Therefore, understanding who the true prophets of the Lord are. Let's continue. Matthew 24, and I'm going to jump right down to 7. It says, I'll stop at 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And if you notice, we read quite a bit about the end, right? So there's going to be a power shift. There's going to be a change in the power structure, all right? One nation has to come to an end. It says, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, all right? Now, I was just having a conversation this afternoon. I went to the grocery store and I bought $90 worth of shit that fit in one bag. Think about that. You go into the store and buy $90 worth of groceries, and you can fit those $90 worth of groceries in one bag. All right? So again, the famines are coming, man. The famine is coming. The pestilence is coming. The uptick on the news about different locations in this world, in this country, having to re-wear masks now. Hospitals are now informing, patients, if they're coming into the hospital, make sure you're masked up. Prophecies, man. Everything is coming to pass now. And it's beautiful to be a part of this thing, knowing that the Lord has given you the eyesight to truly see what's actually going on, what's happening. Okay? And it says, in earthquakes in diverse places, key point here in 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Okay? All these are the beginning of sorrows. And then it goes on to say, verse 9, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted. Now, you can say this for certain, right? You can say this for certain. All these Christian apologists, you don't think for 1 minute they're not going to give us up? They're not going to point to who we are and what we do and what we say? Of course they're going to. That's their lot. They're not going to be like, nah, we don't know those Hebrew Israelites. They're going to know they're over there. That's where they stay. That's where they stay, over there. So be ready. Be super on the ready, because you just don't know. The guy you may be, cool with, you may talk to him, chop it up, here and there about a few scriptures. He may be the very one that drops a dime on you and gives you up. All right? So this is why we in this brotherhood of ours, and this thing of ours, we trust in each other through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Anybody outside of this sanctuary cannot be trusted. Okay? Again, then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Okay? And this is what's actually happening. You got damn near every country going online now, going to these, what do they call these platforms, talking about the Hebrew Israelites are false prophets. They got it wrong. We debunked the Hebrew Israelites. They're afraid to debate us. Right? And this is all throughout the world right now. This just isn't in America. All right? Because back in 2008, 2009, 2007, 8, and 9, when the influx of men have come into this truth and was hearing this word, the majority of it was in America. But now this word is all over the world. And this is why you see all these groups popping up, these apologists, these Christians, all these groups all over the world. All right? Because the Lord said what? Ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Ain't none of these Christian apologists talking about, the Hebrew Israelites are right. None of them. Let's continue on. Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of the wine of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. All right. So again, understanding the prophecies, understanding what's happening right now. All right. These nations that have joined together in an alliance are really ready to push some buttons, and I'm talking about them thermal ICBM nuclear missile buttons. Okay. So it's important to understand who these nations are, why they're mad, what's transpiring in the world right now. 2026, as we said, and we've been making mention of this quite often, has started off with an absolute bang, man. We right there in the crux of what's happening. We right there in the crux. These nations are mad. And it's just going to take but a few more moves, strategic moves, before the Lord opens up, the full-blown onslaught of World War III. And Donald Trump is that man that the Lord is most likely going to use to usher in this third world war. You can't get around this. You can't escape the fact that when the Lord spoke of prophecies, these prophecies are now, unfolding right before our very eyes. And this is the problem with a lot of people in the world. They look at the Bible as an ancient book of things that have already taken place. And the only thing left is for the Lord, whom the world only called Jesus Christ, to wake up the Gentiles to be saved. All right? All throughout the so-called Old Testament, man, there's all types of prophecies that still haven't come to pass. So this is where you people fall short. When I mean fall short, you just fall, period. All right? So understand and know that the leaders of these nations are rearing and ready to go. All right? They're rearing and ready to go. And for the most part, you people don't understand that. Let me get this real quick. These leaders right here are going to be the ones that are going to put America, is going to burn America. Let me just say it that way. All right? Even America's allies are going to turn against her. You see? So it doesn't make any difference, who's on America's side right now. It doesn't make a difference. Because pursuant to the book of Obadiah, all the men of thy confederacy is going to bring thee to the border. All right? So let's go back. Revelation 17:1. And it says, there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And who is that talking about? That's talking about America. This is a prophecy. The Christian apologists and all these other groups, they're not going to go into this. All right? 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. All right? And we just got through talking about these kings of the earth and what the ultimate goal that these kings of the earth are going to accomplish through and by the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Total destruction, total annihilation. That's what's coming. All right? 3. So he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. So as we always go to, and I'll say this too about these 7 heads and 10 horns. I'm gonna use this because I tried to get it on Google, and this chart that we have, can't even find it. Now I don't know if it's deliberate, but this is what you're looking at. Okay, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns is natal, and then you go into the 7 heads, all right, and then you get into the 10 horns. So these are those kings of the earth. These are those nations that are going to come up against America, which you see as the horse sitting on the beast. All right. But a lot of these men aren't concerned with this. You know, you bring this out and these cats are going to be like, well, we don't care about that. Of course you don't care about it because you don't know about it. And if you don't know about it, you can't prophesy or speak about it. And if you're not speaking about it, then you're not sent by the Lord. All right? We're letting you know that these kings of the earth and these nations are gearing up, ready for what? Ready for orders or ready for the command to shoot their nuclear missiles. All right? This is where we're going with this. You apologists, you have no idea what you're involved in. And it all sounds good. It all sounds good where you guys are banding together here in these last days, and you're gaining numbers and you're gaining some strength with one another. We don't give a damn about what you people do or who you are. One thing is for certain, as we started off at the top of the lesson, you are not measuring the time diligently. You are not looking and seeking for the things that are happening on this earth. All right? The Lord is mustering up these things. And now that we understand and know what's happening, we give all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? For what? The fulfilling of his word. And as we continue down this path, we're going to see a lot more, as we read in the book of Matthew, we're going to see a lot more sorrows. And you people out there, you better hope and pray that the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, keeps you in tune with the men of the Lord, his servants. All right? That you may be edified. Okay? That you may be comforted. That you may be fed, this spiritual meal, to keep you safe. All right? So with that, I'm going to end it there. Just want to hit a quick one. Lord willing, I'm going to see y'all on another one. I'm going to say shalom.